Hey, I wanted to share a few stories with you regarding my love for baseball. So, my appreciation for baseball started when I was a little boy. My first favorite team was the Oakland A's because I always had a fascination with speed. So, my favorite player was Rickey Henderson, the king of base stealing. And then when I grew up, I moved to New York and I ended up becoming a big Yankees fan, and I'm still a Yankees fan to this day. So one of the stories I wanted to share with you is getting my first baseball hat. And I got my first baseball hat when I was 10 years old. It was a birthday present from my parents. I felt like I begged them for it, but I remember my dad taking me to the mall and I picked out the exact one I want. I put it on and I fell in love with it. It was the green with the yellow Oakland A's hat. It was a snapback. That was probably a happy birthday for me. I really appreciated that present, and I don't know where that hat is because of all the moving that I ended up doing throughout my life, but that was my first time I fell in love with hats. As a boy, I played baseball all the time. Growing up on Air Force Base, I was surrounded by other kids. So we used to get together, me and my friends, and we played baseball all throughout the summer. I mean, we did play other sports, basketball, street hockey, rollerblading, riding our bikes, playing tag, all that. But one of my fondest memories was playing baseball. We used to play in my yard. We used to take my dad's tennis racket and just swing as hard as we could on tennis balls, and those things would go flying. We used to go to the park down the street and we'd play hardball in the back of the houses. So the houses were like in a U shape. Well, it was probably more circular, but in a U shape for us, where the park was and where the backyard of the friend's house that we were using. I remember we used to use one of my friend's bats so much, metal bat, that we ended up denting it. We just crushed it because we played baseball so much. So the second story I want to share with you is a story of going to my second minor league baseball game. My first minor league baseball game was in Charleston when I grew up as a little boy in South Carolina. I believe they were still the Charleston Rainbows, and a couple years after they changed their name to the Charleston River Dogs, where I visited during our family vacation this past summer. But on my 13th birthday, I again begged my dad to please take me to the minor league team, Binghamton Mets. And to me, the night was magical. It was my birthday. I went to the Radar pitching game for kids, and that night I threw the fastest pitch. I won tickets to something. I just can't remember what they were for. But I did win. I had the fastest pitch that night. I think I only threw 71, 73, or 76 miles an hour. As a 13-year-old, I suppose that's fast. But the highlight of my night was my dad bought us seats in the first baseline at the top. So we sat against the fence. And while I was sitting there, I'm hoping, please, I hope I get a ball, I hope I get a ball, I hope I get a ball. Well, sure enough, a fly ball was hit my way. Had my little baseball glove on, and I started tracking it. And I was running towards that ball, and as it came down, it boom, hit the concrete. And it bounced one time, I believe. I don't know, it could, maybe it didn't. All I know is I jumped on the ball. And then, I swear, I was down there for 5 to 10 minutes. Because I couldn't believe, I knew it was under my hand. Just couldn't believe I had gotten one. But I finally got up, and I was like, I got it! And I held on to my little ball tight, and I showed my dad, and I think my brother went with me. And of course, showed him. And then I remember running back to my uncle and my aunt's house, and I showed them, I got a baseball, I got a foul ball. I was so excited. So my 10th birthday was awesome because I got my first hat for my favorite team. My 13th birthday was awesome because my dad took me to a minor league game. I got a foul ball. I love baseball. Third story I want to share with you was after I moved to New York, there was no more real watching the Oakland A's. It was always Yankees baseball. I was a 12-year-old, 13, starting to, try to make my own choices. Not that being an Oakland A's fan wasn't my own choice, but the Yankees obviously were very available. So I started watching them, and the more you watch, the more you start liking certain people, and I end up liking them, okay? That's how I became a Yankees fan. And then it actually increased tenfold when I moved to Boston for a few years. And of course, they hate the Yankees, so I loved them even more. And unfortunately, my first year living in Boston was the time they broke the curse. And I remember being in bed that night, and I could hear everybody celebrating, of course, because finally the Red Sox won, but I had turned off the TV, and I just hear everybody around me celebrating. Boo-hoo. But sometime during my Boston stay, I decided I was only going to wear Yankees hats. I used to buy hats from all kinds of teams. If they were on sale and they were cool, New Era hats, fitted hats is what I wore, I'd buy them. I used to have Pinwheel, Tampa Bay Buccaneers. I used to have a Boston Celtics hat. I just had all kinds of hats that just made no sense. So I said, all right, the only hats from now on, I'll buy any color, any style, but it has to be Yankees. So for years, I only wore Yankees hats. But then I decided, you know what? I need to branch out. And I had this thought of always wanting to visit minor league stadiums. I want to visit all the stadiums in the U.S. if I can. So I said, for me to wear other teams' hats, because I refuse to wear other MLB teams' hats. I have a favorite team. I'm not supporting the other team. Even in Texas where I live, I will not wear the Houston Astros or Texas Rangers hat. That just doesn't make sense to me. So why not go around the U.S. visiting minor league ballparks and wearing minor league hats? There's nothing cooler than a minor league hat. Look at this one. This is one that I got on our past summer trip when I visited the Montgomery Biscuit store. Visited their stadium. They have an awesome stadium and wrote about it in the blog. And I decided, in order for me to wear hats that are not Yankees, I'll just visit a bunch of stadiums, and then I will collect their hat. I also collect the stickers as well, but the hat is my treasure. So what I do is I go to different stadiums. I hopefully get to go to a game. If not, if I'm in town and there's only a chance to visit the stadium, I visit the stadium, I take pictures, and I try to show the cool features and remember what they look like. And then I get to walk away with my treasure. I find my favorite hat that they have in there, and I buy it. So after I visit a stadium, I'm allowed to buy any hat I want. I can buy it online. I can go back. I can ask somebody else to pick it up for me if I've seen it, but I have to visit the stadium first. That is my one and only rule. There are many great hats that minor league teams have come out with, but I stick by my rule of visit the stadium first, then you can ask for the hat. So there's some hats I wish to collect. There's Rocket City Trash Pandas, I think. That's in Alabama. The Norfolk Tide are playing as the coffee for one night, and they have awesome iced coffee and hot coffee hats. I want that one, but I refuse to just order it, because that's the thing. I could just order any hat and just keep spending money on them, but I want the experience, and I want to share that experience with you. So those are my stories. I am making this a series. I will document every time I go to a stadium, and I'm going to share all my experiences with you. I will share the stadium. I will share what I eat at the stadium. I will share the awesome features that the stadiums have. And of course, I'm going to share the hat that I get when I visit. All right? Well, thanks for watching. Bye.